Hi there folks, welcome to RRTV's live telecast of the WANC or the Wankel Australia New Zealand Championship. We're coming to you live from Phillip Island for round one, and I'd like to introduce you back in the commentary box with me is Luke Hamilton. Welcome, Luke.
Yeah, thanks Bernie. Just had to run up from pit lane there after running a few laps around here, and glad to be in for a brand new series.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an exciting series, isn't it? We've got basically 12 rounds. So we're starting Phillip Island. We've got Monza, Imola, Spa, Bathurst, Road Atlanta, Suzuka, Donington, Moport, Watkins Glen, Montreal and Road America. So there's a lot to do in the next 12 weeks.
Yeah, definitely right there, Bernie. It's a star-studded list of tracks we've got there that are classics among open-wheel racing, and should be some excellent racing as we've seen in practice so far, with some good little battles there out on track all the way through the field and not separated by much at all in the timing screens.
Yeah, well, the good thing about this series is it's a fixed series, so you know, it's great for people who love open-wheeler. They can just jump in these cars every Wednesday night and go and have a run without having to worry about setup, which makes it extremely accessible.
Yeah, for sure, Bernie, and just proving that, you know, having not driven this car for at least 12 to 18 months, and be able to jump in with this setup, and the car feels quite good, and manage like a midfield kind of time there for practice. So definitely, and a lot of the boys out there I know have been driving a lot of other things, and to be able to jump in and putting down some really competitive times.
Yeah, and one thing you were saying off air was how easy these things turn in. They're very, I guess, tight on turn in, and also under brakes you're pretty surprised about it.
Yeah, you're right. Coming into the hairpin there, and at least braking no earlier than 80 metres and still being able to pull the car up is absolutely ridiculous, which I don't remember them ever braking that well when I used to drive them. But yeah, and definitely flat through turn one, final corner flat. So yeah, a lot of downforce in these things, and the draft seems to work really well as well.
Yeah, I noticed that when we were riding with you earlier. The draft was very apparent down Gardner Straight, that's for sure. Now, folks, looking at the way the race is going to go tonight, they're out qualifying at the moment. They've got 15 minutes to qualify, or they get 4 laps. So they're solo laps, so individual qualifying out there tonight to stop people slipstreaming or getting balked, that sort of thing. Once we get into racing, they'll have 1 fast repair tonight. Incident limit is set at 20. And total lap distance tonight is 18 laps, so a good sprint race around here. And total race distance is 103 kilometres.
Yeah, it's a good size race, excellent track, very high speed, as I mentioned before, high downforce, and long enough to produce some really good racing, and doing a few laps. Then the guys are going to also have to do a compulsory pit stop any time after the green flag drops, and definitely have to put some fuel in, Bernie. It hasn't been capped, they said, once they fuel stop it, but obviously nobody's going to put in any more than what they need, and I think I did about 8 or 9 laps in practice before I had about 3 laps worth of fuel left. So it should be very interesting to see strategy of a few people mid-pack or late in the pack pit early and try and get ahead of the others, and tyres are only compulsory, so the tyres didn't seem to fall off a lot in those 9 or 10 laps that I did, so yeah, should be very good.
Okay, so we're expecting them just to refuel and go the distance, because I had another look, it's actually 23 laps, I had it wrong. So do you reckon the tyres on these will last 23 laps?
Yeah, it's a bit hit and miss, only doing 10 laps. I mean, I'm not the hardest driver on tyres, no matter what kind of car it is, so it just all depends. It seems like a pretty warm kind of track, and it's fairly clean, so we'll see how they go. But I feel the other boys might have done a few more laps, but I know these Mazdas being pretty lightweight and such a high speed track with an even kind of amount of left and right hand corners at speed, I don't think tyre would be an issue.
Yeah, so it'll be just fueled by the sounds of it. We're having a look at the moment. Ewan Noralampi out there, or he's calling himself the Preacher. He's sitting at the moment 17th position and a lot to play for here in that car. But the weather out here tonight, folks, partly cloudy, track temp 33 degrees Celsius and 91 degrees Fahrenheit, so not too hot out there today, Luke.
No, that's right. It's nice and sunny though, and I'm sure the track's going to warm up a bit once these cars go out there. And yeah, not, as I said before, the track looks pretty fresh. Not a huge amount of rubber, but did find that anywhere on that outside line, outside of that groove, and you're going to be in a bit of strife, because these things tend to understeer a lot if you hook them in too quick on the dirt by the feel of it.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like that, that's for sure. But looking at the qualifying at the moment, we've got Gary Hamilton sitting on provisional pole with a 125.5, let's have a look, 125.186 is his fastest time. Ewan Noralampi, he jumps up into second position with the 125.261. Trent Thomas currently sitting third, 125.385. Thomas Jordan here has just moved up to third with a 125.381. Tim Delisle rounds out our top five here, Luke, with a 125.459.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. Just looking at the times now, we've got positions 1 to 14 are covered by less than a second, with the 14th place having a 25.944. So that's going to be absolutely ridiculously close racing, pretty much in our top 14 there. The next quickest time is Phil Otto rounding out 15, which is a 27, so a couple of seconds off the pace there. As we get another 25 put in, so that definitely makes our top 15 all within a second.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? And the top 10 now are within 0.5 of a second of from first to 10th there. Joseph Falcomata just jumped into the last spot. Now he's been pushed out. Brock Kramer's jumping up, so extremely competitive field here tonight.
Yeah, it shows this car, especially again as you said with a fixed setup, is just produces some really good racing, and as we said off air as well, Bernie, it's a bit of a forgotten car. It's been a bit neglected over the iRacing community pretty much since the Formula Renault came out, which is obviously again quite a nice car to drive. But you know, the Pro Mazda, or Star Mazda as we used to know it, was always a pretty popular car before that era of the Renault. But yeah, hopefully this series will look to revive that a bit.
Yeah, I'm definitely hoping it will. We just saw Gary now with the 125.486. He does not improve. He's still on there in provisional pole, and that's his run done. You can see now Thomas Jordan coming through, currently sitting in fourth and trying to improve there, as we can see his time. Now, a few of the viewers might be wondering where the Wankel Australia-New Zealand Championship comes from. Well, it used to be SMAC. They used to run the Star Mazda Australian Championship, and they decided they'd go and give the Pro Mazda a bit of a run, and that's where that's come from. Of course, Wankel is for rotary, so yeah, so that's where they got that name from.
Yeah, so no clever puns around here, Bernie, just simple acronyms.
There's no clever puns and simple acronyms. In fact, there was so not clever puns in here, I wasn't exactly game to get this on iRacing Live, because I wasn't sure if we'd get into trouble or not.
Yes, some of the Yanks might not like the WANC series title, possibly might take it the wrong way, you reckon?
Yeah, possibly. But it's a good way to round out the midweek. We're in Hump Day, of course, so it's a good night to celebrate. Of course, tomorrow night, folks, if you like your NASCAR, we've got the Thursday Night Thunder coming your way. Once again, I've got Ryan Shelton in the box, and he's grown up on NASCAR, so I'm expecting he'll be able to really tell me what's what when it comes to that style of racing.
Yeah, I'm expecting the boogity boogity booty let's go racing, as they used to say.
None of that. We don't do that here. No.
That's no fun. Lucky I'm not in the comms box then. That actually does look like quite a good series. I'm going to have to watch that tomorrow night. I don't mind a bit of NASCAR. So I used to run the old V8 Oval series that the V8 Supercars were doing many years ago. So yeah, it should be good.
Yeah, it's good fun racing. And then of course Friday night, folks, Australian Online Supercar Championship comes back, and we've got a 150k race. So I'll be joined with Bailey Hall in the combox for that. And then Saturday night, World's Fastest Game Australian Split will be exclusive on RRTV, and then the final round of the Sim Racers Asia will be following that. So a lot of action coming your way in the next 4 days on RRTV.
Yeah, it's a massive schedule, and that World's Fastest Game is going to be absolutely amazing and competitive. I can't wait to watch that and just see some of the top sim racers on the iRacing service. I know it was really popular on the other consoles and that they've done so far. I know R Factor as well had theirs with their new McLaren, so yeah, it should be excellent to see some of them come over to iRacing and have a good crack at it.
Oh, definitely, it's going to be awesome. You can see at the moment AJ Bear out here, he's sitting in 13th and he's having a crack now. 1:14.15 as he comes through the final corner onto Gardner Straight. He's looking for a 1:25.619 to put him in the top 10 as he comes across. And what did he get? A 1:25.646. So he's just outside and sitting in 12th position.
And again, that's good competitive time there, and again, to be have half the field pretty much, or 3/4 of the field within that second bracket is going to produce some really close racing.
Yeah, it certainly is, and the only one out there at the moment is Tim Delisle, and he looks like he's done his lap, so he's not going to improve on 6th position, but yeah, good effort there as he runs wide in the number 17.
Yeah, a few other people yet to set a time. I'm not sure if they're still on the server, but see how they go. But we did have 23 enter, including myself, so 22 that were looking to have a go tonight. So yeah, good field for the first night, but definitely with 17 cars registering a time, this should be really good racing.
Yeah, it certainly is, and they've got about a minute left until the end of quali. Basically 15 minutes or 4 flying laps, and you're right, Phil Otto, he's jumped out of his car. He's only done 2 laps and sitting in 16th. Aaron Lee completed 3 laps. He's also out of the car. And Tim Delisle, as I said, was the only one running. He's come in now. And who else is out there? I think that's it. I can hear a car running around. I just can't see him.
Yeah, unfortunately, because I've joined as a driver, I can't spectate anyone during their qualifying laps, so can't tell you on that one, unfortunately, Bernie.
There's a car out there, but I can't see it. It's a ghost car. But anyway, let's go through the full grid while the ghost car runs around, so you can see, folks, where your favourite driver will be starting tonight. Okay, looking at our grid for round 1 of the Wankel Australia New Zealand Championship. Wouldn't want to say that after a few drinks. Gary Hamilton, he will start from pole position tonight, with Craig Edwards starting in 2nd. On the 2nd row tonight, folks, Ewan Noralampi will start out of 3rd, and he's joined by Thomas Jordan in 4th. Trent Thomas will start in the 3rd row with Tim Delisle. Out of 7th is Josh Burden. Then we've got Heath Brennan starting out of 8th. Out of 9th tonight, Chris Moon. 10th, Brock Kramer. Joseph Falcamada, he will start in 11th. Out of 12th is AJ Bear. 13th, Aaron Lee, followed by Jason Warren. He will start out of 14th position. Will Sutton will start in 15th, joined by Phil Otto next to him. Brett Gardner will start in 17th. Then we've got Dejan Jovanovic from DH, the club DH, international driver, in 18th. Out of 19th will be Scott Goodman, followed by, no, let's go back to that. 19th, Nick Cummings. Luke, there you go, you qualified in 20th by the looks of it.
You!
David Baildon starts out at 21st, Scott Goodman 22nd, Ian Thornley, he will start out at 23rd.
Yep. And Zach Bass ran out the 24. From 19 downwards, none of us have set a time, so we'll see if those boys either come out of pit lane or take their spot at the back of the grid. The car's now just about to line up, ready to go.
Yeah, we can see the drivers now taking to the grid. 23 laps around here, folks. There will be a pit stop. Doubtful about tyres, though. I think it's going to be a splash and dash home, but at least it makes the guys think about a bit of strategy, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's right. You might even find that they may take 2, but I'm very doubtful. I think the time that you'll lose from taking tyres is going to outweigh the fall, or the drop off of the tyre in the long run. If you can manage your tyres a bit better, you shouldn't have a problem.
Yeah, so you can see the field now. I guess you've done a fair bit of driving around here in the warm-up, so you'd know, Luke, how the tyres are going to go, and I guess, from what you've said, it's not going to be a problem.
No, they didn't. I mean, out of all the laps, pretty much my times are still improving up until the 10th lap, so that should be pretty sweet, as we got about 30 seconds to go now while the cars grid up.
You can see now Gary Hamilton has taken to the grid, starting from pole position tonight. Trent Thomas also out there. You can see him in the second row. Just number 28 is right next to him. That's Craig Edwards starting out of second. So I'm predicting, Luke, it's going to be close racing considering how close qualifying was here tonight.
Yeah, that's right. And now all the cars are set. We're ready to go.
Yeah, the green light's coming on now. We're starting round 1 of the Wankel Australian New Zealand Championship from Phillip Island. Great start. Tim Delisle, though, did not get off the line, and he's been rear-ended big time, and already there's been carnage on the line.
Yeah, no good at all. Mid-pack here, there's like 2 wide, and a lot of Fusion sim racing cars there all together. They're going to try not to get tangled up here coming into 2.
Yeah, so at the moment, if we look at your leader, just trying to get the leader, it's actually Gary Hamilton leading at the moment. He's got Craig Edwards down on the inside now under brakes. Is he going to have a look? He is, and further back it's like 3-4 wide, and
yes.
Very close. Another contact there, a lot of carnage already.
Yeah, there was Josh Burton there. He was the biggest winner out of that. He got up the inside there into the hairpin and managed to overtake both his teammates plus another 2 cars.
Yeah, so we can see now Craig Edwards coming under pressure from Gary Hamilton. I'm predicting, Luke, we're going to see a lot of this tonight. Just all this drafting, swapping positions. It should be very exciting.
Yeah, definitely. And Heath Brennan here giving all sorts of pressure to, who's that in front of him? Aaron Lee, one of the Redback Racing team there. And coming now onto the main straight, he'll look to get the draft. And this is the first time we'll see it used.
Yeah, and you can see he's just blowing right by as they come to the start-finish line. Aaron Lee on the inside, squeezing him, and finally lets him through. And you can just see how effective that slipstream is as they go 2 wide through turn 1 here.
Yeah, that's the thing around turn 1 there, Bernie. You can actually hold your line on the outside, let that overtaking car on the inside. As we see Aaron get real loose out in the gravel, and there's another car off behind him. That was a Fusion car of... who was that back there? Trent Thomas has got wide in the marbles there and gone for a trip out towards the ocean.
And so we'll jump back and have a look at what happened to Tim Delisle here, folks, at the start. Very unusual. He just did not get going, did he?
No, that's it. And these things are actually quite difficult to get off the line, Bernie. You really need to ramp the guts out of them and slip the clutch. Otherwise, they just absolutely bog down and almost go into like an anti-stall mode.
So, I'm just trying to get back to the replay here. One moment, folks. I don't think I'm going to be able to get back to the replay of that, so I'll see if I can get back to it later, folks. But basically, Tim didn't get off the line, did he, Luke? And he got rear-ended, which pretty much ended his race tonight. Yeah,
it's so hard when you're the car behind too, Bernie. You got hardly any time if you get a good jump, and hardly any reaction time, and don't have a lot of choices about where to go. But there's a massive battle down here in 4th position. Christopher Allen is under absolute pressure from the rest of the Fusion Sim Racing team. They're all ganging up right now as he goes around the outside, and all the Fusion teammates are going to try and follow each other through there.
Yeah, I know he's going to be having the nightmares of the purple and black very shortly when he goes to bed later tonight. But Chris is now fending off Brock Kramer, Craig Edwards, Josh Burden. They're like circling him like a pack of sharks here.
There's a fourth joined in the party now, and some great racing back here at the moment as they come down now into the tight second gear. All under brace. Oh, there's a random redback car in there as well, Bernie. They're all getting in.
Yeah, that's Aaron Lee. He loves his open wheeler racing, and he loves mixing it with these boys, as we can see out of the tail. Gearbox Cam will jump back and have a look. Aaron Lee now, he's fighting with Joseph Falcamata here as they come down Gardner Straight for the third time tonight.
Yeah, and Craig Edwards is our first one to take the dive into the pits. So he will now take his fuel and hopefully see it through to the rest of the race.
We're riding on board now with Aaron Lee. You can just see that car stepping out slightly as he turns it in, but it does show what you were saying earlier, Luke, how easy these cars turn in, and now he's getting a good run. The other thing that astounded me was how deep you can go under brakes in these things.
Yeah, like you see there, Bernie, if you're still on board, that's at least maybe 80 metres, and you're not even thinking about braking at 100. And you can still pull the thing up into second gear and get around there. But these two boys, looks like they're going to go side by side for pretty much half a lap here.
Yeah, we're riding with Aaron Lee now, got the telemetry on, and what are they, 5th gear as they come up into Lukey Heights here, 6th gear across the top, and when's he going to start braking? 50 metre mark, hard on the brakes now, down to 2nd, and then pretty much flat out from here.
Yeah, he's going to have a good run, and he got a really good exit out of there, and another into the pits now. So looks like all the Fusion Sim Racing guys are going to go hand in hand into the pits here.
Yeah, and that will give them a bit of breathing space, that's for sure. But of course, it's how they pop out the other side that's going to count. Now, looking at the cars that did not start here tonight, folks, we've had quite a few that did not make the grid. Scott Goodman didn't start.
Sorry, Bernie, there's been a big crash. Gary Hamilton and Nora Lampy have gone off at turn 1 in a big way, just in front of that battle we were just watching.
Okay, we're coming back and having a look at the replay now. Got Gary Hamilton here, so where was it? Down in turn 1 by the looks of it.
Yeah, into turn 1. Juan actually looks like he just understeered, and unfortunately Gary Hamilton was trying to go around the outside there, which is perfectly alright in these cars, as he pulled out the draft and just collected each other mid-corner there and went flying off.
Yeah, big one, wasn't it? You can see them now in super slow-mo skidding, and yep, that's just pulling it up now, but that's pretty high speed, isn't it? What do you reckon they were doing at that point?
I can tell you, I think, Bernie, here, they were doing, when they collected, about 235 kilometres an hour into there as they hit. So, yeah, it's a massive impact. Yeah,
so looking at your top 10 as it stands, folks, we've got Brock Kramer leading Christopher Oon. We can see him right behind now. Then we've got Joseph Falcamata in 3rd, AJ Bear sitting in 4th, Aaron Lee 5th, and Aaron's now gone into the pits by the looks of it. He's dropped to 7th. Then Nora Lampy in 9th. Craig Edwards rounds out our top 10.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Benny, I've just gone back to Gary Hamilton after looking at that replay, and I don't think that car's that damaged. It's got a little bit of a bent front wing, but he's just overtaken Trent Thomas there. So he's back up in the 6th place already, and somehow didn't lose a lot of positions out of that incident before.
Yeah, I'm surprised, because normally in an open wheeler with contact like that, you'd bend your steering, but you're right, he's just got a bent front wing and he's pushing on. At the moment, Christopher Oon's pushing on. He's taken the lead from Brock Kramer, and these two continue the battle here for 1st and 2nd. Looking at the pit times, folks, the guys that have pitted: Joshua Burden, Craig Edwards, Heath Brennan, Thomas Jordan, Aaron Lee, Ewan Lampy. Now the pit stops, it's looking like an average of around about 12 seconds The range is from 11.6 up to about 14 seconds so far.
Yeah, it's hard to say, Bernie, but I think they may just be taking fuel at that kind of numbers. Don't quote me on that because I haven't done any stops, but yeah, these guys battling for first and second here. This is going to help out Brock's teammates here as well, if he can just hold them up a bit and see if they can catch him.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they're going to be playing the team strategy here, that's for sure. They've got quite a number of cars, probably about a third of the field. So we can see now Brock Kramer, he's having a great battle here with Christopher Oon as they go too wide once again, heavy under brakes down here. They're coming up towards Siberia shortly, and it's too wide still.
Yeah, it's good racing. They're both giving each other enough room as there's a lap car on the inside there that got out of the way nice and quickly there for them. But yeah, this is a ding-dong battle, back and forth, and they got to go side by side again. Yeah,
this is what I was expecting from this this category of racing, fixed series. I was expecting very, very close racing, as you see there. Brock just lifting because him and Christopher nearly tagged wheels.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe Brock here is getting ready to pit.
He's staying out there, so maybe what the strategy is he's up there battling out with Christopher, which is, as you were saying, not allowing Christopher to put in the fastest laps, which will then bring the other teammates back into play once these guys stop.
Yeah, we just saw the draft there. He was about 4 cars back coming onto the Gardner Straight, and he's pulled it up on the gearbox and made the move into 1.
Yeah, and absolutely no DRS in these cars, and the way they draft, though, you almost think they were using DRS.
Yeah, you're not wrong, and just must be a massive pocket of air behind these things that they can just sit in and pull up like that. And even when you pull out of the draft, you get that good of a slingshot into 1, nice and easy round the inside there.
Yeah, so I wonder when the last time iRacing updated this car, because it doesn't seem to, I haven't seen it for a very long time, so and this is probably the only category I've really seen it being used apart from the official iRacing.
Yeah, I don't know, the only thing I've really noticed different, Bernie, as I said, I hadn't driven in that long, so I'm not sure how I can't exactly remember how they handled before, but they've updated obviously the flame that comes out the back of the exhaust. That's about the only kind of upgrade I can offer anyone who hasn't seen it before. That's about it.
Yeah, we're riding with Gary Hamilton now. We'll just see how his car's tracking after that contact, and yeah, the steering's pretty much perfectly straight, would you believe, after that big impact he just had.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of, Bernie, maybe possibly might have been a slight bit of netcode as well. And normally when we see that, sometimes you can get lucky with a bit of netcode and cars can almost disappear inside each other and not sustain critical damage.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It didn't look like netcode to me, but anyway, the top 10 as they stand, folks. Looking at the moment, we've got Brock Kramer leading by 0.003 of a second over Christopher Oon in second. Then Joseph Falcomata, AJ Bear in fourth. Trent Thomas sitting down there in fifth at the moment with Gary Hamilton just behind him. And Jason Warren seventh. Eighth, Craig Edwards. Ninth, Thomas Jordan. And then Craig Edwards has jumped up to ninth. Now the guys that haven't pitted so far is Brock Kramer, Christopher Oon, Joseph Falcomata, AJ Bear, Trent Thomas, Gary Hamilton and Jason Warren.
Yeah, so that's pretty much a top 7 at the moment, haven't pitted. So also they get 1 fast repair, Bernie, so Gary Hamilton's not too disadvantaged here because he'll be able to go in, and if there is any slight damage to that car, he'll be able to get it fixed up and during his pit stop and straight back out. But he's still competitive at the moment as he looks up the inside of Trent Thomas, coming into 1, and that front wing maybe slightly aero deficient, but still being able to pretty much hold it flat through 1 there.
Yeah, he hasn't lost any top end speed or steering at all, has he? the way that car's handling. And just looking out the side of Christopher Oon once more, and we could just see disappearing from shot Brock Kramer, but now Brock's got AJ Bear joining the party and Joseph Falcomata. Both of these guys have stopped, haven't they? Or no, they haven't?
Not sure, Bertie. I'll have to get back to you on that one.
Yeah, no, they haven't. I was answering my own question.
But that's going to be interesting to see where these guys pop out once they pit, but it looks like there's a fair gap between this top four and the rest of the field, but your pit stop being at about 12 seconds plus your entry and exit time out of the pits is definitely going to probably group up the next top 10 cars once they come back out.
You can see them now. Brock Kramer's diving in, and so is Joseph Falcomata, the two teammates, or are they teammates? No, one's Kimi Rural Fencing and the other one's Fusion Sim Racing. Christopher Oon, AJ Bear stayed out. AJ's now right on the backside of Christopher, going for an inside move, and he makes that position easily.
Yeah, it was a nice move down there, and he's managed to come across and cover it, though. He's covered the inside line for 2, and that's a very flash paint job on that car as well. I don't mind that black and white livery.
Yeah, it reminds me of those, the test paint jobs when they're trying to disguise the car.
Yeah, a bit hard in a Star Mazda. They're pretty kind of different shape for an open wheeler, as in bulky wise. So yes, it's a good paint job, and we'll see if these guys come in this lap and try and maybe cover an undercut, something like that.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting. One of the viewers has asked what sort of lap times Thomas Jordan's doing. Well, he's sitting in 7th at the moment, down 5 positions. His fastest lap time, a 1:24.587. His last lap time, 1:25.769. But as you can see, folks, he's got his hands full out there at the moment.
Yeah, that's right, Bernie. And that 24 is actually quicker than his qualifying time, and that shows how much difference the draft makes.
Yeah, definitely. We'll jump with him as we come down the main straight, because a few of the viewers are wondering what sort of speed, top end speed, these guys are doing, and it's around about 235 kilometres an hour, which doesn't sound that fast, does it? But I guess it feels fairly quick.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, when you got your foot buried into the floorboard doing 230 odd k's through that first corner and you don't want to lift, it's pretty nail biting, as he's going to try and split these guys with his nice bright fluoro green paint job, and I don't mind this paint job either. It's quite nice. And here he goes now. He's backed out of it. Come on, keep it planted. It's getting showered in rubber from the Fusion car in front, but he's tucked back in behind him now. Yeah,
so it was 235 k's, even though he lifted going through turn 1.
See what he does now down at the Honda hairpin. He comes around now. He's going to pull right up behind the Fusion car here. He's going to get covered off. It doesn't. Oh, thinks about going 3 wide. He's in the marbles braking. Oh, around the outside. Oh, there's contact.
Yeah, he's pulled it up too. I'd say he's. What's he doing? He's redressing.
Yeah, and he's completely bent his steering wheel, Bernie. He's at about 30 odd degrees of the wheel straight. So it shows you how inconsistent the damage model is on these cars. Is you can have a massive impact like we saw and have no damage, and he has a completely nose to gearbox, and he's got really bent steering.
Oh, we just saw it there. The rear suspension just failed as well by the looks of it, as it put him straight into the wall.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate, and yeah, a bit of commentator's curse there, I guess. I might have to take the blame for that.
I'm going to blame the viewers because they asked about him.
Yep, that's a good idea.
We're just having a look at the replay here, and you can see he's got into the back, which one is it, number 4, just ahead of him. Just nose to tail contact, but that's caused immense steering damage and then rear end suspension failure.
Yeah, so that was Josh Burton, unfortunately, that was caught up in that. I'm not sure how his car's going at the moment, but yeah, hopefully not too much damage on that one, but yeah, very unfortunate there.
Yeah, so looking at the leaders at the moment, it's Christopher Oon leading AJ Bear. Both these guys have not stopped yet. Trent Thomas sitting in third. He also has not stopped, as we see now. Christopher's coming in, AJ's coming in. So it's going to be down to the pit crews here, folks. 11.7 seconds, and we might stay with this, I think, Luke.
Yeah, no worries. I'm going to go back and I'll just see third place is in as well. So fourth and fifth, which are probably going to pop out, which is your Fusion Sim Racers, Brock Creamer and Craig Edwards, are now coming around the second last corner. So these guys are going to be your leaders as they come around now, entering onto Gardner Straight.
Can hear them now in the pit lane. Revs are rising as they're going. A very slow stop for AJ Bear, 14.3 seconds, and Christopher Oon, he did a 13.7 seconds, but that's going to cost him quite a few positions.
Yeah, so we have the 27-28 car of Craig Edwards and Brock Creamer now taking over the lead. So now that the field has been cleansed by pit stops, now your top 10 pretty much have all pitted. We've now got Brock Creamer in first, followed by Craig Edwards, who's right on his gearbox, and then Heath Brennan. So it's a Fusion Sim Racing 1, 2, 3 at the moment, followed by Kimmy Royal Fencing Falcomata there, and then Christopher Oon, who just pitted in.
Yeah, so AJ's down in sixth with Trent Thomas and Gary Hamilton. Now it's going to be interesting because Gary would have used his fast repair and he'll be on the hunt. And Josh Burden sitting in ninth after that impact he had. Ewan Norilampi, he rounds out our top 10.
And these Fusion boys doesn't look like they're going to hold back here with the trio of cars, covered by a blanket pretty much. Looks like there's no team orders here, and they're going to be racing absolutely flat stick to the flag now.
Yeah, absolutely no multi-21 out of these boys tonight, that's for sure.
Yeah, we're lap 14, we've still got a decent amount of laps to go, so it should give these guys a good opportunity to have a good fight up front.
Yeah, we're riding with Heath Brennan here now, 241 to 242 kilometres an hour under draft as he comes through turn 1.
He's got a good eye on his teammates here. He might just choose to stay a car width or so behind and see what these boys get up to. He's still close enough for the draft if he needs it.
Yeah, well, they can pull that pretty much straight in, can't they, when they get onto Gardner Straight here. See now Craig just tucking in behind Brock Creamer. Heath third. Further down, though, Christopher Oon. He's coming under a bit of pressure here from Joseph Falcomata. So it'll be interesting if these two can actually catch the top three. We could be in for a very interesting end to this race.
Yeah, for sure, Bernie, and not too much of a gap there. He only needs to probably make up about half a second, and they'll start to just get the tail end of that draft down the main straight. And it's good when you've got a pair car like this that you can draft together. It helps a lot, obviously, as we see it in oval racing, to catch packs. So we'll see how they go as they come onto the main straight now, see if they can gain anything.
It was interesting there. Craig showed his nose. It was almost like he was going to go into the pits, and then he swung out again. But here he goes, a slingshot. He should make this move pretty easily as these things cut through the air like butter, but they're going too wide. Craig Edwards on the inside, Brock Creamer on the outside, and both of them not holding back, and they're showing what can be done in these cars.
Yeah, and it also a good display there of how well these cars stick to the road, no matter whether you're on the outside or the inside. Both those cars, no lift at all, and are able to go side by side pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much, and that's going to bring in Heath Brennan into the action here. Further back though, Christopher Oon, Joseph Falcomata continue that battle. AJ Bear, he loves to party, this guy, and he's trying to join another one.
Yeah, and he's pulled up nice and close after his pit stop. He'll be nice and fresh, plenty of fuel in the car, and be able to get straight back out. And as we can see, he's right on the pace again. They're catching up to this little pair here.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Joseph's monstering the back of Christopher Oon here. He's pretty hungry. If you can get this move made, he can then try to close the gap, but the gap is about 2 seconds. Doesn't sound like enough, a lot, but it'd feel like an eternity in these cars.
Yeah, for sure, especially when you got such a battle going on behind you as well. And you're trying to not look in the mirrors, but it's a bit hard in these things when you know how strong the draft is.
Yeah, exactly right. And we're riding with Heath Brennan now, as he can see his two teammates up here having a lot of fun with each other. And I tell you what, they were separated last time by, folks, by 2/1000ths of a second. That was Brock Kramer over Craig Edwards as they came to the line.
Yeah, we've got AJ Bear now trying his way around the outside around turns 2, 3 and 4, and just pulled it back in at the moment. Oh, they get pretty close. And this trio is really closed up now, and Joseph did well there to hold his position.
And Trent Thomas is being monstered at the moment. Well, he's not the one being monstered, I guess. It's Gary Hamilton who's monstering him, and Josh Burden got past Trent here.
Yeah, and I tell you what, it looks like the trend tonight, Bernie, is best things come in threes, because all these packs have got 3 cars, 3 cars, 3 cars.
Yeah, and there seems like a lot of Fusion Sim Racing boys out here enjoying themselves tonight.
Yeah, it's good to see the teams supporting a good series, and always helps to bring drivers across, especially when they're all nice and competitive and give each other some good clean racing. As Gary Hamilton now has a great run under the main straight, and he's going to be looking here to get round Josh Burden.
Yeah, we're onto the gyro cam here. You can just see how close these are, can't you, as we look behind him. Josh Burden just tucks in behind him. There's Tim Delisle also involved in this, and the number 10, that is Trent Thomas.
Yeah, and it looks like Gary Hamilton will try and pull away from this pack, but I think he's got a fat chance of that with these guys being so close behind him as they're going to go 3 wide here into the Honda hairpin. Not quite. They behave themselves.
Yeah.
Oh no, we've had Tim have a little bit of an oopsie there, but he's got back on track. Harmless half spin, so unfortunate for him. He'll try and pick up the back of that pack again.
Yeah, one thing that's good though, we saw him involved in that start accident, didn't we? And we thought that would be the end of him. But he's out there, he's 1 lap down, sitting in 13th, still having some great racing. And that's what this category is all about.
Yeah, that's right, and now we've got Josh Burden. He's pulled up right on the back of Trent Thomas. And look to get a slingshot here coming on the main straight. As Gary Hamilton now has managed to pull a couple of car lengths actually. He's making me eat my hat. But we'll see how we go. As just in front, Falcomata here and AJ Bear once again, side by side.
See Trent Thomas, Josh Burden side by side here. Gary Hamilton just in front of them. Again, almost touching wheels, but they don't. And they continue on. We're down to 5 laps here, folks. Brock Kramer still leading. Craig Edwards, Heath Brennan. This trio looks like they're going to be fighting it out amongst themselves. Christopher Oon, he's still just in front of Joseph Falcomata and AJ Bear. Round out your top 6. I'll tell you what, Gary Hamilton's nearly made that gap up now, would you believe?
Yeah, I tell you what, he'll be looking to join the back of this, and he's got 4 laps, so he may be able to improve his position there, especially with the cars running so close together. With a bit of a draft, he may be able to get them all into like turn 1 and 2 and 3.
Yeah, well, we definitely know Gary's got the pace, don't we? And I'm pretty sure he would have been well up there. Well, in fact, he was pole position, so he should be the fastest out there. But remember, he's had that big accident, which is why he's now coming through the field.
Yeah, that's right, and managed to save his fast repair till his pit stop as Brock Kramer now pulls out of the draft. This is for first place. Looks like they're going to go 2 wide again into 1, but he's already got the move done by the time they get there. So we'll look for the switchback. He covers the inside line here, and Brock's got no choice but to stay back into second there. Yeah,
and I'll tell you what, you know, coming down to the last lap, if you're right on his hammer like this, sitting in second position, you've got to have odds on for the win if you can get that slingshot. As now Brock's just taken the position back from Craig, bringing Heath Brennan back up into this.
Yeah, I tell you what, if I was Craig, I wouldn't be too disappointed with that. As you just mentioned, Bernie, you want to try and get that slingshot in the last lap. That way you don't have a chance of getting overtaken. And if you can get a good enough run out of this last corner on the last lap, you may be able to get the move done before the start finish, which is a fair way down that main straight.
It certainly is, and we'll have a look at Craig as he comes through here. We'll jump on board on the gyro just so we can get an idea what it's going to be like here on the slingshot. You can see him now, he's 2 car lengths behind as he comes through the final corner. Already he's getting that toe, and what's it going to be? What's he doing?
Oh, this is going to be real close yet. No, he needs to be probably half a car close, I reckon.
Yeah, he's got to be right on the, probably another car length closer, and you'd have him, as they were separated that time by, well, pretty much dead heat according to this. But look at Gary Hamilton around the outside now of Christopher Oon, AJ Bear. Man, he passed them like they were standing still.
Yeah, it's amazing work there, and I did call it, I think, Bernie. I said he might get all 3 by turn 3, and he has done, although he's having to fight hard with that last position with Christopher there as he manages to hold on, but Christopher's not going to let that go easy. I reckon he might try getting back here, coming around into the final corner again.
Yeah, I think he'll have a definite look, and folks, if you're joining us and you like your open wheeler action, if you're thinking about jumping into the series, definitely do it. Fixed series, great close racing, you know, and you could be out there next week having a lot of fun with these boys, and we'd love to have you on the grid.
Yeah, for sure, Bernie, and yeah, you might struggle to keep in the comms box if this kind of action keeps up. I might have to jump back in and give it a go, but Heath Brennan now at the back of this trio, he's going to have a look here. He's close enough for a good draft on both his teammates, and I'm not sure if he thinks he's got the pace because he's been hanging back there, but they go too wide again, punching a massive hole for him in the air.
He's actually lifting, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's just letting these boys fight it amongst themselves, and then he's going to pounce on the last lap.
Yeah, he's a fox amongst the chicken coop here, I reckon. He's just prowling around the outside waiting for the cover of darkness on the last lap to punch through the rest of them.
Speaking of foxes, Gary Hamilton now back on the inside of Christopher Oon. Christopher's going to have him under brakes though, as Falcomata tries to go 3 wide. Man, that was close.
That was real close, and they did really well there not to contact, and Hamilton's have to lift there and let Christopher through. So as I said before, Christopher's not going to let this position go lightly, and you know, against a quality driver like Hamilton, it's always a good battle because you know he's got good racecraft, and he'll give you the room where needed most of the time.
Yeah, and you can see now what's Gary going to do, tucking in. He can see the top 3 ahead of him, but he might as well forget about those boys because his battle is going to be for 4th tonight.
Yeah, we'll see now. Chris is going to be hung out to dry here. I think Hamilton's going to get another good run. Hamilton gets such a good run out of that last corner. We've seen it a few times tonight, and that proves that even now. So he's probably just got in there at the line before that next lap. So he's now holding the inside line and already got the move done into 1.
Yeah, he had probably half a car length as we're looking in the gyro. You can see Christopher there trying to work the back of him, but of course Falcomata's going to have something else to do or say about that. But let's jump back up to the top 3 here, because I reckon Heath is foxing him here, and I reckon he's gonna snag the win.
Yeah, that's probably a safe call-ish, I reckon, Bernie. I probably wouldn't put a house on it, but yeah, you'd be paying 2 to 1, I reckon. Although, as we say that, he runs wide, and now you've lost your house. Unfortunate there, but he's gathered it back up, so that now leaves a 2-horse race. Brock Kramer and Craig Edwards now battle this out for the win, with Heath just falling off the road there.
Yeah, and Joseph Falcomata also spun, so he's out of the battle behind them. But coming around the corner for the final time here at Phillip Island tonight, folks, Craig Edwards, Brock Kramer. Who's it going to be? Well, we're going to know very, very shortly.
Yeah, he's got a good run. They touch. They touch there. They're going to go wheel to wheel. That was a great race. Oh, and a flip. Big crash at the end.
Yeah, and there he goes, rolling down oh, and he's been hit again. Who was that?
That was our disguise AJ Bear there in his camouflage car.
Yeah, just seeing him now. Yeah, he's lined him up, hasn't he? Nailed him big time.
Yeah, a bit of fun there. It's that was some great racing there, Bernie, and very, very enjoyable, as we saw, and as yourself predicted right at the start. There was going to be some great racing all the way through the field with less than a second covering the top 15 cars really in qualifying.
Yeah, we're jumping back to the action here of the final corner. Gary Hamilton, he was leading Christopher Oon here as they come to the start-finish line. It all spread out, of course, because Joseph Falcomata had that spin which dropped AJ off the back of these two.
Yeah, no, there was some good racing all through that, as you said, and Christopher Oom was in the thick of the action, as was Hamilton. Hamilton? Yeah, Hamilton. And thought of Hammond there for some reason. But yeah, it was battles just everywhere, Bernie. It didn't matter if you were fast, slow, mid-pace. It was some great action.
Yeah, I'm sure all the guys will be feeling very satisfied after that sprint race, that's for sure. And let's have a look now at our final results here, folks, so you can see where your favourite driver finished, as well as who the biggest mover and shaker was tonight. So round one goes to Brock Kramer, who takes the win, up 9 positions from where he started. Craig Edwards, he pretty much finished where he started. Heath Brennan up 5 positions, comes home third, with Gary Hamilton in fourth. Fifth tonight was Christopher Oon, followed by AJ Bear. In seventh was Ewa Norilampi, dropping 4 positions from where he started. Joseph Falcomata up 3 to come home in 8th. Ninth was Joshua Burden, and Trent Thomas down 5 positions in 10th. In 11th, Jason Warren and Tim Delisle down 6 positions in 12th. So at the moment, the top mover, folks, is Brock Kramer. Top shaker is Tim Delisle, but let's continue. Home in 13th was Will Sutton, followed by Dejan Jovanovic. I think he's the only international driver here tonight in 14th. 15th was Phil Otto. Thomas Jordan down 12 positions to come home in 16th. Aaron Lee down 4 positions, home in 17th. Then we had Brett Gardner was the last non-classifier. With Nick Cummings, there you go, Luke, you didn't make the start, mate.
Unfortunate that was. David
Bailed and Scott Goodman and Ian Thornley did not make the grid, of course. So there you go. Thomas Jordan, the biggest shaker, and the biggest mover was Brock Kramer.
Yeah, and that was some great racing, Bernie. I think I might even just go back and watch that broadcast once we're finished, just to see the rest of the stuff, because that was really, really good. And it looks like, looking at the chat, all the boys really, really enjoyed that race. So I'm sure we're going to see most of this field back again next week.
Yeah, I definitely hope so. I'm hoping we're going to get a bigger field. Like tonight, we had 24 in the server, but for whatever reason, only 17 made the grid. So it'd be great if we could get all those guys in, plus more. But if anyone has watched tonight and you're sitting on the fence and you're wondering if you should have a go, just jump in. You know, this series is designed so you don't have to put in huge amount of laps. You can turn up on the day, jump in the car, go out, have some fun, and then wait for the following week.
Yeah, very much so. And as we mentioned before, Bernie fixed that up. Pretty simple rules. I think they're going to have just a mandatory pit stop for fuel. in each race, and that's about it. So yeah, as I said, like I jumped in, not driving the car for nearly 2 years, and yeah, takes a few laps, but you get used to it. So yeah, anyone can come in and have all the fun, and it looks like there's pretty much racing all the way through the field, no matter whether you're slow, fast, beginner, advanced, doesn't really matter.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And by the sounds of it, I'm going to have to find another commentator, because it sounds like you're going to be out there next week having a run.
I'll stay with you for a bit, Bernie, but yeah, that bug might keep itching me every week. We'll see how we go halfway through the season. I might make an all-star appearance later on.
Yeah, fair enough. So, I'm just trying to line up some things here. But, yeah, so what did you think of tonight's race, Luke?
Yeah, excellent, Bernie. Not a dull moment, really. It was action-packed all the way through. Good groups of racing, 3 to 4 cars per group all the way through. And the pit stop's really good. It didn't seem to disadvantage anyone, and produced some really good racing once the field kind of cleansed itself. It was interesting to see the different strategies, and no matter whether they pitted early or late, seemed to all kind of filter out almost where they were when they came back in.
Yeah, it was definitely pretty exciting, that's for sure. And you're right, they did filter back in. I think the last guys that stopped, though, probably lost the most. I think they were about 2 seconds slower than the faster stops, which of course 2 seconds around here does cost you a bit of time as far as positions go.
Yeah, it's pretty much the difference between getting in the draft of the car ahead and not being in the draft. So we did see tonight as well a lot of cars pitting in pairs so that you don't lose a drafting partner, similar to, again, NASCAR as they do. So yeah, it seemed like the boys, who, even if they weren't teammates, and if they're following the car, they kind of follow suit. If they go in, they go in.
Yeah, and speaking of following suit, we've got Brock Kramer down here in the green room. Let's bring him up. Well, Josh Burden, you know what's going to happen. We're going to be invaded now by Fusion Sim Racing boys. There, look, they hunt in packs, and we've got 3 of them now.
Do we bring them all up at once and get absolutely mauled, or what do you reckon? No interview, you reckons?
Yeah, no interview. Here they all come, folks. Hang on to your hats. It's going to be an interesting chat here. Let's bring Brock up and Trent, and we'll leave Josh no interview down there.
No worries.
Oh, that's all right. Brock and Trent, welcome. We would have brought Josh up, but he's saying no interview for whatever reason. Now he wants to come up, so should we bring him up as well?
Sure, let's do it.
Yeah, why not?
So, folks, we were saying these boys hunt in packs. They even hunt in packs when it comes to interviews. But firstly, Brock, fantastic driving out there tonight, up 9 positions, biggest mover, and you came home in first, I think. It was first, wasn't it?
Certainly was.
Yeah, I must say, though, bit of controversy going on there just after the line, and bit of contact. Was that Mr. Burden that did the pirouette down the front straight there?
I think Craig Edwards doesn't like coming second, so he kind of clipped me after the line.
So that was you doing the rolls?
Yeah, it was me.
Yeah, fantastic. I'm glad you got out in one piece anyway. But I was saying to Luke, guys, you put on some fantastic racing. We're watching you pretty much duelling for most of the race, as well as Gary coming through the field and Trent there. But it looks like fantastically close, fun racing in this series.
It was a lot of fun. I found that there was an early incident, and then I found myself in the lead and decided to see if I could get the extra 1 point for leading at least one lap. And before I knew it, I had quite a few laps, and then pitted early after, I think it was Chris got a bit of wheel spin coming out of the hairpin, and I decided to duck in the pits when I had a chance.
Yeah, it was good racing, the whole race. And how much did pit strategy count, do you think, towards your win tonight, Brock?
Probably a lot. I made up a couple of seconds in the pits. I managed to get the fuel just right. I'm ticking the box right at the right moment and crossed the line with only a tiny little bit of fuel. So that extra second in the pit I saved probably put me into that pack of 4 or 5 halfway through the race.
Fantastic. And going over to you, Josh, where'd you finish? About 9th, I think.
Yeah, mate. Back in ninth, not ideal. That's what happens when you get tagged twice. Once by a lap car, so not ideal. I was fighting in that lead pack there until I got tagged the first time. So anyway, it is what it is. It was great racing, and hopefully we'll bring it back next week.
Yeah, definitely. And Trent, we saw you down there in 10th. I think you're in the wars a bit too tonight.
Yeah, it was a bit of a shocker. I got a pretty good start, made up a position off the start, I think, and then just a bit of an unfortunate incident into the Honda on the first lap, and I had to sort of go a bit wide to avoid, and then from there it was just my own mistakes that sort of cost me. I was enjoying working with Gary, trying to catch up to the lead group again, and again it was just absolute muppet manoeuvre by myself. I just completely lost it, double shifted down or something, locked the rears, and right in front of Josh too, which was unfortunate. But that was good fun while the battles were lasting. Certainly, hopefully it sets a tone for the rest of the season.
Yeah, well, we're watching the whole field, and there was battles all the way through the whole field, so it looks like everyone was enjoying it. We were saying to any of the viewers watching that it's such an accessible series. It's a fixed setup series that people can pretty much turn up with the car on the day, jump in, and have some fun, and that's what this series is all about, really, isn't it?
Oh, it definitely is. As you can tell by what we've chosen to call the series, like it's just a bit of fun, built off the old Smack days that we used to have a lot of good fun racing, which was quite popular back in the day, and it's always a battle going on anywhere, and like you said, fixed setup, so you just rock up and race, and hopefully you can have some battles throughout.
Yeah, exactly right. And that's what I was saying earlier about Smack, where this came from. So you've got Smack and now you've got the WANC, so I can see a bit of a theme going on here, Mr. Thomas.
WANC, hey? Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm calling it.
Yep. We've agreed to disagree not to say the acronym, and we're going to say it in full.
No, it was all good fun. It was a brainchild of our race winner this evening. Just thought it'd be just something fun, just to prove, like everyone's welcomed it. It's obviously a play on words, and yeah, I think it's been pretty well received by drivers, etc., and the community as a whole, which was the intent, which is good to see.
Yeah, well, unofficially, I call it the Wednesday night WANC.
That works.
Yeah, so on that, I'm going to hand you over to Luke, because he's sitting over here blushing in the comm box, and I'm sure he's got a few questions for you.
Yeah, no, congrats on the win there, and also even completing the race. It was just some great racing all around, and I was saying to Bernie, I remember the days when it was Smack, and I think that was when I first started helping commentate with Bernie, and it was just such a good series, and it's good to see it back. And I haven't touched the Star Mazda in nearly 2 years, and got out there for a bit of practice earlier, Trent, and really enjoyed the setup. It was a good setup, wasn't too hard to get used to, and I'm sure everyone that does the series who jumps in enjoyed the setup and really enjoyed the racing. It looked action-packed all the way through. Good groups of 3 and 4 cars, pretty much.
Yeah, there's one thing we were sort of aiming with the set, I guess. Some of the guys who normally drive the Pro Mazda, they tend to be very low downforce, very pointy, that sort of thing. But then you got guys who are new to the car, and like loose cars aren't really good for newer drivers. So I think it's a pretty good balance between the two, and we've had good feedback from both the new guys as well as the guys who normally race the car.
Yeah, and it's I was saying to Bernie, I was amazed. Like, I couldn't remember the last time I drove it, how it handled, but it just seemed to turn in. I was saying to Bernie, I give it about 20 degrees steering lock, and you'd take the hairpin and you could pull it up inside of 100 meters. I was braking it 80 to 70 meters and still being able to pull it up easy. So the drivability of the thing, especially over a long stint, like I did about 10 laps I think, and yeah, just felt really good.
Braking a bit early there, Luke.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure you're at about 50 or 40, but I did say I hadn't driven the car in a long time. This is why I'm only mid-pack. I am not up the pointy end of the field.
Well, on the last Max series, I was mid-pack as well, so nice to see after a few years that I'm getting a little bit faster.
Yeah, and it shows the competitiveness of the car is the top 15 in qualifying were covered by like under a second, and the top 10 I think it was, or I think roughly, was under half a second between all years. So yeah, it was excellent. I would have been right in the middle of that with about a 26. I think it would have been about 16. So yeah, it was definitely a good series, and there's battles to be had everywhere, which is always good. You don't want to be just running around by yourself at the back if you're a bit slow like me, and it's no fun being up the front all by yourself winning by 20 seconds. So yeah, it's a good series for all-round racing.
Yeah, and if you look at Heath Brennan, he didn't own the car 2 days ago, and he came third, I believe.
Yeah, those Fusion Sim Racing boys had it dialed in tonight, and they were everywhere. Every battle there was at least one car, and when you start ganging up on a few cars there, and it was quite funny to watch. You had three on one, and then all of a sudden the fourth wanted to join in the battle. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I think we locked out the podium, didn't we?
Yep, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, pretty much, and I've also brought Ewan Noralampi up for a bit of a chat. You haven't seen you in the skippies for years, I don't think, or a while, but I can see where you've gone. You're up into the Pro Mazda now.
Oh, hi Bernie, for a long time I've been here now because I haven't driven with the Skippy for 2 years, and I've been practicing and racing with the Lotus 79, and that was very fun there, and I will be continuing it with this season. But I noticed last week that this Mazda Pro was beginning to race here at the series, and I just tried a few days ago, a few hours, and I was amazed by the speed and the grip what it has, and I really enjoyed the car, and I just tried to come and little tease boys here in Australia, New Zealand, and that's my point.
Yeah, fantastic. It's great to have you in the series, and do you reckon we'll see you back here again next week?
Yes, I try to be there because this is a great time for our schedule here. It's afternoon here at Finland, and it suits for me because I'm sick and I don't work now, and I have plenty of time.
Fantastic. Well, it's always a pleasure to have you down here, that's for sure. And as I was saying, it's been a while since we caught up with you, but it's great to have that opportunity to catch up with you tonight. Going on to your race tonight, we noticed you started in 4th, came home in 8th. So what exactly happened out there during the race?
Well, I started 3rd and I came 7th at in my account, but I don't know what are you looking for. But well, I was really surprised that I was so fast with this car without so much practicing, and well, it was very easy to try the race, and it was a fifth lap when Gary Hamilton to take a little too sharp turn at the first turn, and he hit my rear tire, and I don't think it's nothing that he was making purpose, but it was perhaps also the net code, because here Finland it's a long way to Australian server, and I'm very sorry that it ended like that, because I was looking forward to battle with the win with Gary, because we were 1.5 seconds ahead others in that point.
Yeah, and did you take a lot of damage from that hit with Gary? We noticed Gary got a bent wing, but and no steering damage. How did you fare from that?
Yeah, I had a suspension broken at back, and I lost 15 seconds and had to go to the pits earlier, and it was ruining my race. But I'm lucky to be at 7th place, and unless it was less than 10 seconds for the winner, and I'm looking forward to the next races, and I hope I could be a competitive there also.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to see how you go with if you've lost that amount of time in that accident, I reckon you could take it to these Fusion Sim boys, which would be great fun, but be careful, they like ganging up on people.
There are certainly a lot of fast wankers here in Australia and New Zealand, that's for sure.
Deary me.
Someone had to say it. No, but good to see, Joa, that we're attracting some international races. As you say, it's in a good time zone, so hopefully some more, couple more European races. I know open wheel very popular over there, so yeah, it'll be good to see if we can get a few more in.
Yeah, I hope I can make some advertisement, and I hope also that some European guys would join us later.
Yeah, it'd be fantastic if they did. We had 2 tonight. We had yourself from Finland. We also had Dejan Jovanovic from the DH club, so I'm not sure where that is in Europe. So do you know where DH is? You know the club?
I don't know, but it's something there about the Netherlands and Belgium and that kind of countries.
Okay, so it's great to have him join us as well. But anyway, you before we let you go, did you want to give a shout out to any of your sponsors?
Well, as you saw my car, I was here to race for the good cause. I have this chronic fatigue syndrome myself for 4 years now, and I just paint my car to get attention from guys who is watching. And if you want to donate or help anyways to get find the cure for disease, it's a very painful disease and very bad, but I'm lucky that I have a good condition now and I can race. But I want to thank God that I can race here, and thank you all that you are very good guys, and for the broadcast to you, Bernie and Luke. See you guys. Bye bye.
Yeah, thanks, Ewer. And next time we have you up, if you can let us know how people could donate towards that research, that would be great as well.
Yeah, maybe send a PM to Bernie and we can put something up on the RRTV page later on.
Oh, that's very good. I will do that. That's very much appreciated. Yes, thanks.
No worries, thank you, mate, and hope you get better and better soon, hopefully, and see you out racing more often.
Thanks.
Okay, guys, before we kick you 3 out, who's going to thank your sponsors?
Race winner can do that, I think.
Mate, we couldn't have done it without Dynamic Sim Racing, Eclipse Signage and Drift and Paint Graphics.
Fantastic. Well, that was quick, wasn't it?
Just short and sweet on it.
And what about you, Trent? Did you want to say anything about the series and how people can get in touch with you if they want to have a run in this?
Anyone who's watching who wants to have a run, there's information on the iRacing forums. There is a thread in the Australia New Zealand road racing section. There's a thread in the World Leagues and hosted section, and also a thread in the Pro Mazda section. So there's plenty of information out there. We race Wednesday nights this time, if you're watching the broadcast. Fixed set, easy to run, easy to join. Come along and have some fun. It's really is quite fun racing so close with these other cars out there.
Yeah, and honestly, a field of 30 of these turn up. So I was saying to Luke, we had 24 in the practice, but only looked like only about 17 took to the grid. So it'd be great to get all those guys out. Of course, one can't because that's Luke, and I'm not going to release him because if he goes out and races with you guys, he'll never come back.
Yeah, that's very true. I think you'll have some fun and you'll be by yourself, and we don't want that.
Yeah, that's right. He did offer for me to commentate from the car, but we saw in practice that once I start yabbering on, I start to lose concentration, and I'd probably cause a massive pile-up and kill some people, so I'll try to stay out of it.
Well, that's what he tells people, but he was just like that before he even started talking.
That's right. It's just an excuse now.
Alright folks, well that's going to pretty much run our broadcast tonight to an end, but of course the action on RRTV does not stop tonight. It's actually a marathon all the way up until Saturday night, so tomorrow night come back and join myself and Ryan Shelton. We'll be calling the Thursday Night Thunder NASCAR Truck Series, and the boys there are putting on a fantastic series and great racing. So if you like your NASCAR action, come and join us for that. Also Friday night, the Australian Online Supercar Championship is back, and it's a 150k sprint, and I'll have Bailey Hall in the combox with me for that race. And then of course on Saturday night, Alex McCullough will be joining me in the combox first for the World's Fastest Gamer broadcast. We'll be doing the Australian split Saturday night, and then that'll be followed up by the final round of the Sim Racers Asia Pacific GTE Championship, and we'll see who gets that Caterham drive. Alex Pole, he's going to join me in the combox for that. So, and then of course Monday Night Lights is back Monday, and Alex will be back for that. So lots of action here on RRTV.
Yeah, looking forward to it, Bernie, and might try and get into the box at some point to say hello throughout those series, possibly Saturday night for that World's Fastest Gamer. If I've got some time, Dad's birthday on Saturday, so happy birthday to him, even though he doesn't watch YouTube, but we'll get it out there anyway. It makes me feel better.
Yeah, no worries. But anyway, Luke, as always, it's been a pleasure having you up here, mate, and it's been a while, but you've jumped back in as if you've never left.
Yeah, hopefully, Bernie, and yeah, it's good to dust off the microphone and keep you company in the box again. And yeah, sure, I'm looking forward to next week already. And as I said, I'll try and make an appearance over the weekend sometime as well.
That'd be absolutely awesome. And of course, Trent, it's always a pleasure having you around. But I didn't need to tell you that, did I?
Yeah, I know that already.
There you go. Anyway, folks, thanks for joining us. I hope your work week's going well. It's hump day today, so not long now till the weekend. But until then, folks, drive safe. Hopefully we'll see you back here tomorrow night. But if we don't, hopefully on Friday night. But until then, on behalf of Luke Hamilton, I'm Bernie Weemers. And thanks for your company this evening, and good night.